Welcome to Season 9 of CX in the Wild, where we venture beyond the ordinary, exploring the untamed edges of experience creation. These are the stories of dreamers and doers, those who craft connections at the crossroads of humanity and innovation. Now, let's join Dennis on the latest journey.
All right, here we are on CX in the Wild in Dubai. It shouldn't even be called CX in the Wild. This is, I think, more like a special edition fireside chat with my friend Jad Hindy. And what I would like to just say is Jad has been an inspiration in my career, a very initial advocate of the work that I do. And Jad, if I'm being honest, probably you are the catalytic breakthrough moment for my success.
No way.
Yes. And I say that because you did a collaboration with me. And I'll say this, I don't do podcasts. When people invite me to be on their podcast, I say no. I don't do podcasts. I don't take podcast invitations unless...
So you just host.
I just host, but I don't take podcast invitations unless the person who's starting is like a nobody and they just need someone to share their audience with them. And that spirit is, I think, what you've done. You're on the greatest customer experience team in the world, both figuratively and literally, not for hype, not for keywords or algorithms. The fact is your team is the strongest, brightest, and the most, I think, track record or accomplishment-based CX team in the world. And me being a chance to be part in any way of what your conversations were, I think it really gave me a kind of credibility or inspiration.
I think you had the credibility before.
Well, thank you. But the inspiration to go around the world, and I've learned so much over the last 2 years going around the world and talking about customer experiences and seeing the greatest teams from around the world. And when I go to conferences and I speak to these great leaders, like I'll tell you an amazing team. The team that has to do the transit system for Europe, all the trains on time, on phones, booking tickets, that team is great. But in those events, I often show your work. And then people are like, oh, it's sort of like showing someone the strongest horse in the stable and how fast it'll run, and then somebody pulling up a Ferrari. but
that was Expo 2020.
Yes.
This is it. Yeah. It had to be.
And you had no choice. So this is more like a fireside chat. Jad, I was here last year, just before COP28. I got to see and speak to your team again about how you've taken Expo 2020 into a city. I talk to people so much of what I just feel about the CX. I talk to people about your vision, a 6th century vision, 600-year vision. And then what's interesting is people are like, 600 years? And then I unpack that and I say, if you're building a city, we can look back easily 500 years across cities. It would make no sense to have like a 50-year vision for a city or a 100-year. So it speaks to maybe it's not just a vision, but it's an ambition. I think what your team has that most other teams lack is the level of ambition that you have.
I think you don't have a choice if you're in Dubai not to have that ambition.
Yeah.
You know, it's the city, it's Dubai, the leadership of Dubai that forces everyone, whether you're working for the government or you're working on your own, or you run a small grocery store, you're automatically forced to have mega ambition.
And that's why I think Dubai is becoming the capital of the world for CX. Because I'll tell you this, you're like, well, it's like we're forced to have it. But do you realize how many companies or brands in the world that I talk to, they have a vision and they have a mission, but they don't have the ambition.
But then maybe that's because it's the company or the CEO, that individual leading that organization that has it, but the entire ecosystem around him doesn't have it. But here everyone has it.
I know. And here's the other thing. I have finally figured out what customer experience really is. I've been around the world, talked to so many people. I said, what can you define customer experience? They're like this. And somebody says this. And somebody place is this? And they're all correct, not wrong. But what I've learned from working and meeting your team and being in Dubai is CX is really the business term that describes the new global economic operating system. Because anywhere CX principles and strategies and executions are put into an organization or a piece of software, what it does is it turns a hierarchy into a matrix. And that matrixed cross-collaborative mindset allows you to tap into a greater ecosystem faster. And that's really what it is. And
That's nicely put.
yeah, thank you. But of course, because I recognized it here, that when I talked to Nadia, she said, universities just don't want to talk to universities anymore. People don't want to be in echo chambers. It's true. And so wherever I go in the world, I realize that I can now perceive where these almost like seeing where sometimes where saltwater and freshwater meet, and you can see. So it's fascinating. I've learned so much, and it's so interesting because you're like, yeah, ambition. You got to be fast. It's got to be networked. But yes,
You can't slow down here. You cannot.
no.
Dubai has a plan for 2040, right? Within that plan, they have put a square, they said there, Expo City. This is what it does to deliver on the Dubai plan, right? Now, if we in Expo City don't do our job to deliver on our objectives, we will not be helping Dubai deliver on its own objective. And this cascades to the smallest business anywhere in Dubai. We all see it like that.
Yeah.
And when the government comes and tells you, you know what, we are appointing a minister for happiness, taking you back to CX.
Yeah.
Right? What does that mean? What's happiness? That means making sure every one of us here, are happy. Okay, to make us happy, what do they need to do? So it's basically you land in the airport. No, actually, no. You fly on the plane, you're happy on the service there. So now Emirates need to make sure they deliver on that. You land in the airport, you're happy across through that entire process till you get out. So now Dubai Airport has to deliver on that. All that is customer experience, right? Because there's a touch point that's called Dubai across every single thing you're doing. Since you board the plane in Dallas, in Frankfurt, in South Africa, wherever you are. So your experience, Dubai experience, UAE experience is starting there. You go through the airport, out of the airport, into a cab.
Yeah.
Customer experience. How you go in, how you pay. You have cash, you don't have cash. No, here, everything.
Yeah, tap.
Tap. You move to your hotel. Same thing. All of those businesses across every single touch point, they're all in the back of their head, remembering there's a Ministry of Happiness, remembering this is Dubai. Yeah. We cannot but be the best. We cannot not make sure everything is done 200% right and correct. And on every single touch point you have, was that service right? I paid my DIWA bill today. DIWA is Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, right? So I opened my mobile phone, logged into it, took the app, right? Picked my home, paid my bill, all that in 5 seconds. Now we take this for granted, by the way, in Dubai. We go back home, I'm Lebanese, I go back to Lebanon, I can't do that. It's impossible. To pay my bill, it's a nightmare. Anyway, I did that transaction, done. I get a pop-up, pick one of 3 smiley faces. One not happy, one very happy, one. That's it. Doesn't take much, right? For us to say, well done, Dubai, well done, DIWA. I did a transaction. Yes, I paid money, but I did it happily, frictionless. Yeah. It was smooth. It was easy. Yeah. And they're measuring that. And they're looking at all those points, all that feedback, and analyzing it. It's not like it's gone, it goes into a black box somewhere, nobody sees it. No, there's someone sitting there who gets all that and looks at what's happening at every single touch point, and there are alarm bells. And then someone would call someone and tell him, okay, this didn't work today. How many cases similar to it did we have? Why people are not happy doing that? How can we fix this? And now you have a team being put in place to fix that.
Now, that's where I was headed. When I talk about Dubai and your team, importantly, what I recognize is there are a couple of places I think in the world that are significant for the present and the future. I think Africa is the birthplace of customer experience innovation. And I'll tell you why. The vast majority of families are living off of 250 USD for a family of 5. And the corporations have a really bad exchange rate against the US dollar. So their budgets are microscopic. And so when you put those two things together, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
The shopper with $250 for 5 people for a month, they know value, it's 6 cents to them. And the companies have to deliver on that. So they're constantly innovating these different customer experiences. And then I talk about things like Expo City, where figuratively and literally the greatest customer experiences on earth are and created. And you would think that people would say, well, that's innovation. And I say no. Dubai and the Expo City team, what they are the number one in the world for CX is bravery. You are brave enough to have the ambition to execute. Because what you didn't tell me in your story about Dubai's experiences, this and that, part of the whole story, the lesson of the story was there's a bunch of failures in the system everywhere, and you go in and you know that there's going to be a miscalculation, or you're going to have to fix something. So you have this bravery of continuity, of uncertainty, and yet you go anyway. And I think that experimentation, curiosity, but to me it's courage, because the person who looks at an infinite number of possibilities and is afraid, waits for the perfect one, never goes.
100%.
The person who stands at the edge of the cliff and never goes, you have a bravery. But so I think really people, what they'll say to me is they'll say, well, it's easy to be brave when we have all the money in the world, is what they'll say. They'll say, when you have all the money, you can be brave. And it's so funny, because what I try to tell them is you repeat that like it's a truth or some sort of, like, it's completely that's the perception, but the reality is.
What's the budget of the US government? I mean, that's all the money in the world.
Well, that's fair. but my point is, they think it's resources, but it's courage. It's not resources. You're courageous enough to.
I think we're empowered to be courageous.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm at the end an employee of a company, and that company runs in a way that allows it to deliver on its objectives. Correct. The leadership of that company enabled us to be able to move and deliver on those objectives. By enabling us, they're empowering us. And I think that allows us, we can be courageous, but not empowered.
Yeah, that's true.
And then our courage will be wasted.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're courageous and we're empowered, then we're delivered. And if we're empowered and not courageous, we won't deliver as well. So I think it is a mix of both. Getting the right people in the right place, and giving them the right tools, the right empowerment. And that's, I think, the catalyst that is Dubai. Whatever the business you're in. At Expo City, we took that from Expo 2020 days. So yes, I'm one of the people that stayed from the transition for the event towards the city. And we took all those learnings, because all those learnings came during event time, when we had to deliver the Expo 2020 event during the pandemic.
Yeah, but it's overcoming the adversity. And when you say empowered, I think a lot of people think it's the money, but it really isn't.
Empowered is not.
It's the teamwork.
Yeah.
It's the ability to fail.
Being empowered to get the right people to support you, being empowered to make mistakes.
That's right.
So empowerment doesn't end up on specific milestone, right? Or there's a boundary. No, you can't be empowered post that. So you're right. When you say we're courageous, we do mistakes, we're not afraid of doing mistakes, but that's because we have the right empowerment.
Yeah.
And our management knows trying this might yield either exponential results or a failure that will teach us to deliver exponential results. So ultimately, we're getting to exponential results.
It's so true. So let's talk about those results. You went from the Expo 2020, you went to the city is happening. It's going in a bunch of phases.
So give you the update on the city.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So last year when you were here, we were gearing up for COP28. But at the same time, we just launched our residential projects, right? And we've released last year Mangrove Residences, 3 towers, fully sold. They will be delivered in Q1 2026. We've released Sky Residences earlier this year, fully sold. They will be delivered Q4 2026, Q1 2027. We released the Expo Valley, townhouses, villas, around 600 plus units, all sold. Also delivered in 2026. Earlier this year, maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, we've announced our new master plan. And that master plan basically shows the entire urban plan for the Expo City Dubai territory, which is close to 4 square kilometers. So it's not a small city. You're right now in downtown Dubai, that's close to 2 square kilometers. So you can imagine how big that is going to be, right? And for everyone who knows downtown Dubai now, they can imagine what's coming to Expo City Dubai on that scale, double that size. And from another section that will have villas, we're calling that Expo Hills, to an Expo Downtown, which will feature several high-rise towers, offices, mixed-use offices, residential as well, to Expo Business, which will be a business district with an opera house, with a huge amphitheater for outdoor art, cultural pieces, to Expo Fields, which will have sports facilities, school, and open spaces, concert spaces, multi-use spaces, and all that construction started actually. Actually, we can say that part of that has already been delivered, because what Expo 2020 delivered is a huge scale of this. Lots of the infrastructure is there, right? The highways that connect that city to Dubai, the rest of Dubai, the metro is there, all that is in place. And lots of the buildings that we've built for Expo 2020 are still there and are reused for different other things. Al Wasl, the dome, is still there. Terra is still there. Aleph is still there. Opportunity Pavilion converted into C3 Conference Center, which is a conference center with a capacity of close to 500 across multiple halls. So all those areas are still there and they're all being reused. Our commercial side of the business, leasing, so we have close to 20 businesses that already moved into the city, operating from there, among them Siemens, NG, and there's lots of other multinationals moving now as we speak. So all that is moving. We are launched as a free zone that offers licenses for businesses and startups to come and operate in Dubai from Expo City. And Dubai announced the project, which is the biggest airport in the world that will be fully completed by 2033. That's directly on the borders of Expo City. Dubai Exhibition Center is right now 50,000 square meters. It's getting built to become 180,000 square meters. And that's going to be the biggest convention, multi-purpose convention space in this region. It's on the borders of Expo City. All that with Expo City will turn that area that we're in, which is Dubai South, into another massive area for business, for travel, for tourism, for events. You'll basically land in the airport, go to a massive event, and then pass to an office which is in Expo City, all that within 15 minutes.
And it'll be the most sustainable approach in the world.
Yeah, we're still building on our sustainability metrics that helped us through Expo 2020. We still have maybe the biggest concentration of LEED certified businesses in a square kilometer anywhere at Expo City, and we still are making sure our buildings are LEED certified, all of them. We're powered by renewable energy. All that is there.
There's anybody who...
And the work doesn't stop.
No.
And the plans keep on becoming more daring, more courageous. So whatever we planned, we know we're close to hitting that objective, we push it harder.
I'm glad that so many of the residences are already sold. I'm glad and happy for you. It makes me feel like I'll never be able to afford one because the prices keep going up. But it'd be so fascinating to be a resident in that city. You're literally...
I imagine this, and it's like whenever we're talking to anyone about how the city is taking shape, and whenever we have anyone that we're showing them the models and we're telling them, imagine you're living in that place, that's the school, all that. It's gonna be a beautiful space. It will be for people something they've never maybe experience anywhere else. Because let's not forget, even within that city, a huge part of it is only pedestrian.
Yes, but
And it's
imagine.
planned like that for you to be able to walk from your home to your office, to the school, drop your kids there, and for them to walk back or cycle back to the house. And for us in this region, this doesn't exist.
Well, and I've walked on those streets. They're even lit streets are designed customer centric.
Remember first time you walked?
Yes, I was like, wait, what is this? It's just
Recycled rubber, that's what it is, by the way.
it's an incredible concept to have a city built around the human experience. It just, because I think a lot of cities were built around industry or other reasons.
So it's all human-centric, right? And now we're building, it's already parts of it built. So we have an advanced technology team that is developing what we're calling city operating system, city OS.
Of course, sure.
And that runs the city. Because this city is a smart city. Everything is connected. From your solar power to your infrastructure, to your telecom, to the sensors in all the houses and all the buildings. And there's a system that can run that and make sure everything is going smoothly. And if anything is breaking somewhere, raise the right alarm at the right time so people can go and fix it and get it adjusted.
I think, did I tell you I lost my wallet last time I was here? Did I tell you about this?
Where?
The way people don't even understand personalization. And I was having this conversation yesterday. Personalization, people think it means, like brands around the world think personalization means that I'm building a more personal relationship with the brand. But in Dubai, personalization literally means you have everything is so seamless. You have no concept that everything is tailored to you and the next person so that it works the best way possible for everyone. And here's my example of it. 2 examples. One of the greatest examples of personalization in the world is coming through your airport. You get off, you walk through, boop, 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 boop. And the first time I did it, and even the second time I did it, as I walked by, the control personalizer was like, hey, all right. Like the first time they're like, no, you can go.
Yeah.
And the second time they're like, all right, it almost feels illegal. Like I feel like, how can you get through? But it's because it's personalized to me. The systems and everything know that I'm okay to go, so I go. My other strangely personalized experience was last time I was here, I lost my wallet at the hotel. I walked to the front desk and I said, hey, I lost my wallet. Do you have a lost and found? Because I know Dubai everybody's so safe. I said, Shirley, did somebody return my wallet to the lost and found? And because I don't speak Arabic, and sometimes I don't know if I'm saying the right thing, I said, did someone return my wallet and do you have it in lost and found and can you check? Mm-hmm. And she responded, just go to your hotel room and wait and someone will bring it to you. Okay. And for me, I'm like, I don't, like in English in the United States, those 2 conversations don't, but I'm like, I'm the new person here. I'm not going to question what she says. I'll just go around and trace my steps again. Going to like weird, like tables where families were sitting in the restaurant. Can I look under your table? So I come back and I decide, I don't want to mention to her because maybe she didn't understand me. So I wait until the next line. I get to the front of the line finally and I say, hey, and she sees me and she comes over and she says, you can just go to your hotel room and somebody will bring it to you. And I'm like, I don't understand. And she said, there he is now. A guy walks up, hands me my wallet and says, check and make sure that everything's in it. And I'm like, that's customer experience at its finest. Like personalized to me down to my lost wallet. That's how good it is here.
We have so many stories in Dubai about people losing something and then easily getting it back. People forgetting money in a cab and then somebody calling them, we have your money, we have your wallet, we have your phone, we have your bag.
I talked to a lady yesterday who says she's lost her bag multiple times and it always comes back.
The problem is, what do you do when you go out of Dubai?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think this is a level that the city has got to that doesn't exist anywhere else.
It doesn't.
It does not exist anywhere else.
I've been on like 12 countries in the last 12 weeks. No, this is the place.
Tell me a place where you sit in a coffee shop. You're alone, right? You're sitting in a coffee shop. You're having your coffee. You have your laptop on the table. You have your mobile phone on the table. You have your wallet on the table. You stand up. You go to the washroom. You leave everything on the table. You come back 10 minutes later. Everything is where it is. Where would that happen?
There are places in Japan that would happen.
Maybe.
But in Dubai, it's so true. You can leave anything anywhere. I love it. That's why I love it. So what I think to sum this little podcast up is bravery and curiosity and will and ability to fail ends up in safety, ironically.
Yeah.
So that beautiful circle. Jad, thanks for coming by to visit me. I always love talking to you.
Always a pleasure having you here.
The journey doesn't end here. Keep exploring the wild world of experience creation with us. Each episode offers a new perspective, a fresh story, and another step into the unknown. Stay curious and keep listening. You never know what you might discover next.